Right. Everything seems to be working. So extending the building concept with sliding windows. Already today, we have products and solutions that extend the building concept beyond normal solutions. My name is Alexander Kolesnitschenko. I am a trained engineer in mechanical engineering, and I've been working in product management for roughly 10 years. Before, I was with another company for a sliding system built of aluminum. Now I'm with the Hautau GmbH. Here I'm responsible for strategic product development, and I am responsible for sliding systems and fittings. And what I want to talk about today is how we can extend the building concept with those fitting systems. And I think this is a highly interesting topic because you cannot only influence with our system the building concept, but you can extend it in a useful way for the operators. Here we have a specific fitting system where you have a axial radiation of 6 millimeters for the door, and this gives you those glazing frontal systems that are very interesting. A very warm welcome to all the architects, builder, also from my team if they're present by Auto GmbH. Welcome in the live stream. So, what are the influencing factors when it comes to building concepts? So I was asking myself, how can we extend those concepts and what is the influence of fitting systems? And if you just look at those influencing factors, then we are looking at architecture, window elements, safety, security, standards, certain requirements, and some of those have an influence on the building concept. So window elements, the design, smart living, comfort, convenience, all of this, of course, has an influence. If we look at safety or security, then of course there is the need for protection. You have natural forces, burglary, breaking and entry. So all those things affect the building concept. So as an architect, you're of course considering, right, what kind of concept do I follow with the planning of my building? What kind of target group do I have? Who I want to service with this building? And I think you can truly generate added value with the building concept for those using the concept, but also for those operating the concept in an economic sense. And if you can actually communicate this properly throughout the planning phase from the get-go, then you can develop great solutions. So the question that I would like to ask is, what opportunities are available to architects in the housing sectors and to planners in the housing sectors? I think there are certain opportunities and possibilities that are worth seizing in combination with light, design, user behavior that, yeah, once again, can generate an added value just as a beginning or as a starting example here. We have an opening closing system of the window, which is working. Normally, you can also tilt the window. This would be the standard execution that we find in our traditional building. Maybe also in private construction and buildings, also in offices. But if you take a closer look, there are certain solutions that are already available today when it comes to fitting elements, which could extend the use of the element. So once again, we're talking about comfort, convenience. If you take a closer look, then here we already have solutions, building elements that would increase those factors. So here you can see a visual of a lock initiator, a tilt damper. This is just one building element that unites two functions. PHSK is customary or traditionally offering those elements, and very often this is combined with a high degree of complexity in operation. Here with our company, this is our latest extension with Hautau, with those tilting sliding elements, we simplified operations so you can easily insert that in your planning phase. You can also offer it to uninitiated users or operators. You have the traditional rotating tilt operation. So in the vertical, you can use the knob to tilt the device, and in the horizontal, um, level, you can use it to rotate it. So this increases the convenience when closing and opening the window, and the damper is dampening the end position when it comes to opening and closing the window. We can also see this with the next element here. We have a stop damper that is built in the profile. Most of you maybe are not familiar with those really small elements which have a huge effect in the overall window element and also change the user experience. So this is the stop damper, which can also be retrofitted to Windows. So you can enter it later on, install it later on. Why I'm addressing this topic right now? Well, I privately am currently in a situation. I bought a house of the 1970s. We are currently renovating and retrofitting in, and I'm experiencing this all myself. You're asking for certain window and door elements, and the consulting scope and offers ranges from A to Z. It is really a broad portfolio that you can access. I personally experienced this in my private life. And you can see there's certain additional products, convenience products, that are not really reaching those who need them, where we could actually create value because some people are willing to pay for such a convenience and comfort, for seizing those opportunities and paying for them. And I think there are certain opportunities that architects could consider already in their planning phase. So if we look at the trends in the construction industry, then overall, of course, we need to talk about the general trends. So what kind of an influence have window fittings on ongoing trends, current trends in the construction industry? I personally am convinced that windows and fittings have a huge influence here because they are the core piece of window elements when it comes to the building hull. So be it ventilation, be it insulation, they have a huge impact on the outer surface of the building. Maybe we also think about architecture, so lean but high window elements or large window surfaces, and all those window elements are operated by a certain fitting, and their functionality is guaranteed and executed via those fittings, which is why you have this influence on the overall construction industry. Today's fittings that we are offering with Hautau, with Mavo, with the Beschläge GmbH, they are answering clearly to the trends in the construction industry. One example, solutions for modern architecture, the Hautau Move. This is our latest product that we launched onto the market for all customary or usually available, commercially available plastic profiles, window profiles available for most of them. So Salamander, Aluplast, there you have this fitting. You can see it here in application in the kitchen, for example. So this is this locking sliding system with the 6 millimeter locking, and you could also use it where you have different users, in particular in those areas where the users are not intuitively familiar with how to open the window or the opening mechanism in general. This can allow you to ensure easy operation. So if you look at private construction, private real estate, then you can also use that, for example, for kitchen windows. It saves space. You can use it as a skylight and with a certain opening width. It does not protrude into the room. And I think this is a huge asset and benefit of this solution. And I think there are opportunities to integrate that quite early in the planning stage. So those elements that answer to those trends, that support those trends in the construction industry. Here we can see the modular system, Multimatic. This is cleverly combined with the Marco product, so you can get it all from one-stop shop as a one-stop shop solution. So once again, you have the tilting, rotating closure, which allows you a lot of variations with a free handle position. So here you can see sliding windows with the same handle height as other windows. And then, of course, you have contractors who says, okay, I want to have all handles at one height. This is a topic, this is a need that can be realized with today's solution. Or you have a free handle positioning on all for wing sides. So basically, the sky's the limit here. You can answer to any request, any wishes if you use those kind of systems. And in terms of flexibility, you can adjust it perfectly to individual situations. You don't need, or you just need minimal operating force. You can adjust it, you can scale it. So it's not only laboratory tested and approved, but you can also adjust the pressing pressure. So if the element is installed, you have settings, different settings that you can choose from. You have a tolerance absorption in the height and sliding direction of plus minus 5 millimeters. You can see that here with those arrows indicating. So already in the installation, construction site situation, you can always choose the ideal option with this element. And of course, here we wanted to reach the manufacturers to take our products into account. This is what Hautau Move is trying to do. And this brings us already to the next question, which is the question, how does the lift and slide element permanently enhance the building concept for operators and users? I believe this is a point in particular, lift and sliding elements in recent times, they really took up speed, gained momentum, and supported those construction trends overall. And I believe that those lift and slide elements offer certain benefits in the construction or in buildings in general. And I will tell you in a minute what I mean by that and how this could be realized with particular products. Here we can see a visual. This is a higher scale, higher living construction. We have a product portfolio for lifting and sliding fitting. So this is once again a combination of Hautau and Marco Rail. So what can you achieve with that? Just looking at the auxiliaries that you can order in order to extend the building concept and to show you what actually is possible, I think a lot of you are not even aware of that and how this could influence your planning and consulting phase already. Just a very brief example. Looking at the lifting and sliding element, you could say, okay, it's opening, it's closing, it's lifting, but what else is possible? So here we have the closing system and mechanism which you can execute differently. Now we have lifting bolts that are visible, but you can also install them in an invisible manner. So you have then bolt pieces that are extended with a magnetic mechanism when you're closing the element. And in the last phase of the closure, this is when they're pulled out by a magnet. So we have hidden bolt pieces, we have closing dampers, we have a once again hidden locker mechanism, which is also installed in an invisibly. And when it comes to protection against break and entry, you have the sleeper technology, you have a roller technology that you can install where you can also adjust the height. We have the sash retraction, which we already know from, for example, our drawers in the kitchen. We have the closure limitations, the closure damper, once again, threshold technology, all those elements can flow into that, and all those auxiliary products that you can use or to extend the lifting and sliding element. This also helps you to extend the building concept by saying, okay, we are planning a building that is not only equipped with elements that allow you opening and closing of windows, but also elements that are more geared towards, for example, noiseless closing and opening that provides you with certain damper options and also go or extend the need for accessibility. So, and this, of course, is a huge asset when it comes to marketing. You can say, okay, we are placing a particular value on comfort or focus on comfort and convenience, and we are also working that in right from the get-go. So products at this point would be a stop damper, so highest comfort accessories. Then we have comfort close, comfort stop, or safety stop. So two additional things that I would like to mention, the comfort close and the comfort stop. The comfort close, you know that from your drawers in the kitchen. This is a product, a building element that softly receives the element and moves it into the end closing position. So I'm opening the lifting and sliding element, and then I'm closing it. I'm just letting it go, and then it is received and closed softly. And the comfort stop is something that when you're opening the lifting and sliding element, receives the element in the opening stage and is breaking it softly into its final position. Safety stop, a building element which might be interesting for children, where you have a certain safety factor that is particularly relevant. This is where you use safety stop. It it is maintaining or is ensuring a certain stop zero speed no matter how quickly you open or move the wing in general. Those are possibilities and options that could increase the comfort in your own home, increase the value of your own home. And this also could be marketed as an asset. And it could also help architects by extending the concepts that they can offer. So to sum up, so the element in the middle, it can be a lifting and sliding element, it can be a scale element, so 8KS, it can be a Hautau move. If you look at it in general, what is possible today in order to extend building concepts, then you can see we have certain core elements. We have the run technology, we have the closing technology, various tilting functions that we can already map in terms of core function, and we have the different adjusting mechanism settings that we can choose. So for every individual case, we have the base equipment and accessories that we can offer. And then, of course, looking at other materials. Maybe some of you are asking, okay, does this work with aluminum? Is this possible with plastic? Can this be realized with wood? All of this is possible. Aluminum, plastic, wood. Those products are available. And of course, this can be round off with WPC thresholds, floor thresholds from the macro company. So looking at all materials, all areas, we are represented on the market. We have in addition to that, and I think really this is the icing on the cake, this is the cherry on top that we should place greater focus on, because there is a lot to win in the planning phase and later on when it comes to marketing the buildings. So those are those additional products such as the damper, the sliding mechanism, without wanting to address all the details on the right-hand side, where you can see the handle damper, where the damper is, where the handle is closing slowly and softly and is not moving abruptly upward. So once again, we have the fitting, which is user-oriented. What do the user want? What is our target group that we are trying to reach? Is it about accessibility? Is it about ultimate comfort? We have once again the fitting that is user oriented. Then I have the material, which is independent. This means we are material independent. We are offering material independent products, and we have the comfort that is scalable. And with those three factors, I think already today we can realize great building concepts. And so once again, user oriented, material independent, and a scalable comfort. So I can say, right, this is not only a sliding mechanism, we also have a tilting damper and a closing damper that we can use in addition, or maybe hidden um, elements of the closing mechanism which further increase the design. So this was about all the influencing factors in the manual area. Just to conclude, to round it all off, automated solutions from Hautau and Marco. So of course we have interconnectedness. We are offering electric solutions. So solutions where all these opening elements are electrified for the windows, so they are operated electrically. So you can use normal sensors and actuators. So we have our comfort drive. So it's just a push drive, which is pushing the element open or close or lifting it. Or I can also have an actuator for lifting and sliding. So I'm just activating the element once it's lifted automatically and then pushed to the side. So at this point, we are also offering various solutions when it comes to control. We can use this with a normal push button solution. With a smartphone, there are different interfaces available, Mediola, for example, so we can assure a great degree of flexibility via Wi-Fi, for example. Just a couple of bullet points of what is possible today already. We have a certain special department that is dealing with those products and is taking care of those products. So this is also something that can guarantee a high quality window automation. So what is the summary of all the solutions in our fitting business? So we can implement trends, we can extend comfort and functions, and we can use window automation. So just very briefly as an inspiration, as some food for thought, what we can do here today what we can already realize with building concepts, with Marco, we're dealing with large surface elements, sliding elements. We have the window area. We're talking about doors, closing mechanism, opening mechanisms, and this, of course, combined with the Hautau GmbH, where we have the fitting manufacturing and production and the product portfolio. That corresponds to it, of course. So very briefly, that's what I wanted to talk about: fitting, construction, fitting, manufacturing, manually automated. So I hope I was able to inspire you. Joachim Kurz is our architecture consultant here in Germany. So if you have any questions, then of course contact Hautau GmbH or Marco Germany, and we're happy to give you further information on our products. So Joachim Kurz would like to mention him at this point. He is your person of contact. Right, that brings me to the end of my presentation.